guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Courtney, and yes, I am in my car. So I am trying to multitask today. I really want to get this video up, and I will not have time to film an intro when I get home. And so I figured while I'm waiting for my daughter to come out of camp, I'm going to get this intro shot. So I felt like I needed to tell a quick backstory about this tutorial. Okay, I've had this project sketched in my sketchbook for 3 years. I've been wanting to make it. And when I was doing my DIY Diaries episode, I saw it and I thought, you know what, I want to make it. So I went to Dollar Tree, I got everything I needed, and I started working on the project. So the first part of the tutorial, I basically am going through the entire project until I get to the last step. At the last step, I have a moment and I decide that what I just created with the sign, I want to save and use for a different project. So from there, it morphs to a Hobby Lobby sign, which I picked up from the 75% off sale. You guys know, if you're in my Facebook group, I've been grabbing all kinds of stuff and totally turning those things into different projects. I will be compiling a video, I think, of all those projects together in one thing, but anyway, so then I finish it on the Hobby Lobby. So the concept of it stays the same. It just changes because originally I was just like, you know what, I'll just show the second part. But then I thought, why? Why would I just show the second part? You guys would have never known that I went through this little process. So I thought, why not? You know, I'm just going to show you what really happened. So yeah, this happens a lot to me where I start working on a project, it starts going a different direction, and then I'm like, I'm gonna switch to something else and use a different, sign or a different board or whatever. So all I can say is I hope you enjoyed this crazy tutorial. If you don't follow me on Instagram or Facebook, that's where you'll find like bonus DIYs, tips, tricks, monthly challenges in my Facebook group. And I'm gonna start putting up on Instagram little short DIYs that I do that are just like teeny tiny, really fast DIYs that you can do. So, okay guys, again, I hope you enjoy this crazy tutorial.
All right, so you may remember these signs that I hauled quite a while ago. Basically what I'm going to do is take some of the Waverly white chalk paint and I'm going to paint the sides and the front, and I'm going to end up doing 3 coats of paint. Now, I am doing signs for places that I have lived after I got married. Had I done childhood, I would have ended up with 9 signs, and I felt like that was a little excessive. So I'm going to end up with 5 different signs. I am not going to show you guys all the signs just for privacy reasons, but pick up however many signs and you can decide if you want to do it for your whole life or after you got married or however you want to do it. So once I do this, I'm going to let it dry and then I'll move on to my next step. All right, so I went through and painted all 5 of my signs, and this is what it looks like with 3 coats of white paint. And then on one of them, and I didn't film this, I don't know why I didn't, but it just, I don't know. Basically what I ended up doing was going back with black paint and painting the sides and then dry brushing across the top. Now, the sign was black to start with, so had I realized this is what I was doing, I would have probably just left the sides black. But to take this to the final step, what you would need to do is just pick up some of these sticker letters from Dollar Tree. You could also use stencils if you wanted to, and then stick them down, put whatever information. You could do longitude and latitude if you want to, or, dates, you could do that as well. And then just put a coat of Mod Podge over it. Now, this is where it morphed. So I picked up 5 of these signs from the Hobby Lobby sale. And what I'm going to do is just take off the hardware here, flip it over, and then I'm going to start painting it. Okay, and what I'm using is the ivory chalk paint from Waverly, and I'm going to end up doing 3 coats on this. And I'm not really worried about the frame, getting paint on the frame, because I am going to be painting that black. So I'm just going to go through and give this 3 good coats. Okay, I took some painter's tape from Dollar Tree and just taped around the edge of the cream so I don't get black paint on it. And I'm going to use this ink Waverly chalk paint and a foam brush, and I'm simply just going to go in and do one coat all the way around on the frame. All right, the frame's all painted. So to kind of distress the cream paint here, I felt like it was kind of stark. I'm taking a black ink pad that I got from Hobby Lobby a while ago and just one of the Dollar Tree makeup sponges, and I am just dabbing it down and then just kind of smudging it across the board until I get a distressed look. I didn't want to do paint just because I wanted a little more of just kind of a light shading. I didn't want it to have super streaks everywhere, so I felt like this gave me a little more control to get the look that I wanted. Okay, I got it all smudged up, and just FYI, the sponge will kind of disintegrate a little bit as you're doing this, so I'm just vacuuming off all the little pieces of the sponge. And now I'm ready to go ahead and put my stencil on. Okay, so my stencil is done. I'm just going to go ahead and weed it very quickly. Again, if you don't have a Cricut, you can use stencils, you can use the stickers, you could create something in Canva and print it out and just Mod Podge it onto the sign. So I'm going to go through and weed this, and then I'll be ready to stick it down and paint it with some black paint. So I'm going to be using the ink Waverly chalk paint here. Now normally when I do stencils, I do use the little round sponge brushes, but those do sometimes give texture and kind of like a bumpy, if you know what I'm talking about, bumpy texture. So I didn't want that. So with this stencil, I'm just making sure not to use a stiff brush. I'm using kind of a very fluffy light brush, and then that way I won't end up with brush marks, because I feel like when you use stencils and paintbrushes, especially if you use a stiff brush, you will end up with brush marks. So I'm just going to go through and fill in my stencil. And here is the finished product. I absolutely love how it turned out. Like I said, I will end up having 5 kind of stacked vertically. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Please stay tuned for some DIY shout outs. And until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye.